Yo, hey folks, it's Kevin, Big K Horror, and I am going to do a in defense type review of a particular film in a series that actually gets kind of sometimes shat upon, but I see positive light on it, and I think it's a great film, in my opinion. But I'm gonna give you reasons why. Now, I did a video like this already almost a year ago, last October, but I want to do this one a little more in depth. So I'm going to do it. Alright, so the movie I'm defending now is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. You know, Michael with the cult. Now, you have to remember, okay, now this movie may be a tad bogus, but you have to remember, Daniel Farrance had to continue what was left with Halloween 5 in 1989. Okay? A lot of open-endedness in Part 5, a lot of shit that was introduced, never explained. So, you know, Dimension wanted to follow up on that, and Daniel Farrance only could do what he had to do to, you know, try to do the best he could. And, you know, and I think he did. Sure, I mean, this movie's kind of bogus in some ways with involving cults and the supernatural, but, you know, what's important to me is how he returned back to the basics. He returned back to Michael being the shape. You know, in every corner of the film almost, you can see Michael watching, stalking, doing his isms that he did from Part 1 and Part 2. Now, also, I will say this. George Wilbur as Michael Myers in Part 6 fucking terrified me. I don't know if it's so much the actor or maybe the suit plus the mask and the dark, big eyes, but the mask had these dark, big eyes that you couldn't see through, and you couldn't see his eyes, and every time I watch this movie, and like, let's say if I have to go outside for a cigarette or something, or a drink afterwards outside in the night, I'm very paranoid. I'm all like looking over my shoulder and stuff because he is actually physically and visually terrifying in this movie. And I don't know if I'm the only one alone on this, but if some of you agree with me on this, please comment and let me know. But he scares me in this one. Now, also, part of this could be nostalgia. I saw this movie my freshman year in high school. I went and saw it a couple times with my friends, so that could have something to do with it. It was the first Halloween I saw in the theaters, okay? Now, not the first Halloween I ever saw, but the first one I ever saw in the theaters, you know? And man, that was a trip itself trying to get into that, you know, as a kid. But with my group of friends, and my friend's father tried to get us in, and that was real hard, but we got in about 3 times. Anyway, you know, this movie just, I think it has a lot going for it that a lot of people kind of overlook. I mean, again, the atmosphere in it is permeating. It permeates atmosphere. Michael Myers is very scary and he's like an android just ready to fucking get you. And you know, sure, the things what they did with Jamie Lloyd's character was kind of you know, the only thing out of this whole movie is what they did with Jamie Lloyd. Okay, that goes for both the producer's cut and this cut. Now, let me also address that. I like both cuts. I prefer the producer's cut because it's the whole enchilada. But this one also as well, you know, to me, it stands on its own. I mean, come on, really? Are you going to actually say that this one's fucking worse than Resurrection Part 8? I mean, really? I don't know. That's just, I can't. Not Resurrection. I'm sorry, I can't. All right. And this one's much better than Resurrection, and even H2O in some aspects, because, I mean, yes, H2O did reunite Jamie Lee Curtis and, you know, Janet Leigh and all these things. H2O, I watched it recently, and it screams Scream. It's so Scream. Like, the layout, the way it's patterned, the way it's filmed, it looks like a typical Dimension film from the late 90s, alright? This doesn't. And I like how they utilize the Salt Lake City, Utah locations like they did in Part 4 and 5. I like how they went back and made Myers' house that the Strodes now live in, not a mansion, but a regular house that kind of matches the layout of the original, but maybe not so much. Let's see here. Let me go on about Kara Strode. Kara Strode, man, I mean, come on. She was a fucking fighting mom, and I really think that she's an underrated heroine. Okay, I thought she did Marion Hagen did a fucking fantastic. Was it Marion Hagen? Let me look at this. Yeah, Marion Hagen. I think she did a fantastic job of doing Kara Strode's character as a mother trying to do anything to protect her son. Okay, and you know, because of course the son was in peril in this movie with the Man in Black and Michael Myers, of course, and also let's see here. I have my notes right there. Okay. Also, I like all the ties to Part 1. I like that they brought Tommy Tommy Doyle back. I like how they reference a lot of things from Part 1, Dr. Wen from Part 1. You know, little things like that. I really enjoyed it. I mean, that's just me. But I mean, come on, look me in the face and tell me that this movie's worse than Halloween Resurrection. I mean, really. No. Alright, so seriously. This movie has, I think, a lot going for it. It's very moody. It's very atmospheric. It has a lot of good set pieces. And Michael Myers, he causes a lot of mayhem in this one. This one's pretty gory. Also, let's see here. I mean, this movie, this theatrical version is a disjointed, messy version of the producer's cut, but still, this was the first version I ever saw, and, you know, I still love it. I'm not gonna lie, I still love it, but the producer's cut to me is way better. I wish they would release the producer's cut officially. But again, you know, you got atmosphere, you got the return of the shape back in the background, you know, always stalking in each little, like, letterbox frame. You got, you know, a kick-ass heroine, Kara Strode, trying to protect her son. You got a little kid in peril again, like in Part 1 with Lindsay Wallace and Tommy Doyle. You got, you know, it just got a lot of things, you know. Sure, it's got the whole, you know, clan of, you know, I'm sorry, I can't even talk right now. It's got the whole, cult stuff going on, but I still think, aside from that, there's a lot working in this film that really works. That's just my opinion. Now, if any of you, I'm sure there's a lot of people detractors who are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine, because a lot of people didn't like this movie. I loved it. I still love it.